Welcome to a further video regarding a unit on rational expressions. And today we're going to talk about addition and subtraction. All right, so with respect to multiplication and division, you handled those problems one way. It involved a lot of factoring and canceling out. And now we're going to talk about addition and subtraction, which is, you really want to think about it as a totally different problem, almost like a totally different unit, right? Because the steps are very different. When we're subtracting fractions, as you know, we have to get a common denominator. If this was addition, it would be the same exact first step. Find the common denominator, and then we're going to rewrite the fractions as one fraction after they have the common denominator, and then we can simplify it if we can factor. All right, so first of all, this denominator is just x minus 1. Nothing we can really do about that. This denominator is really x minus 1, x minus 12, right? So you kind of want to replace x squared minus 13x plus 12 with its factors, which are x minus 1, x minus, let me write this up here. And once you have that, you'll be able to figure out the common denominator more easily. All right, so now that we have this factored, denominator factored, which is what you want to do in the first step, now we know how we have to make this fraction have the same denominator. And that's by multiplying top and bottom by the missing factor. Sometimes you've got to multiply both fractions by a fancy version of 1, right, to change the denominator to be the same. But in this case, because x minus 1 is already one of these two factors, we don't need to change this fraction. All we've got to do is change this fraction. We've got to multiply top and bottom by the missing factor. All right? So now we'll just carry this one down, 3x minus 37 over x minus 1, x minus 12. This is going to take up a lot of room on your paper, these problems. So really leave yourself almost an entire page per problem. All right? Now we have a common denominator. So what we do next is we just combine the numerators. So the next step should have this as one fraction. We have a common denominator. We can just do our subtraction. Now with this, you might want to do this all in one step. So we have, well, in this case, I'll show you carefully each step. But in your paper, you might want to just save some time. So 3 times x minus 12 will be on the top, minus the quantity 3x minus 37. So a mistake that a lot of people make when they first do this is if you're subtracting more than one term, if there's a binomial or a trinomial up here you're subtracting, you got to remember that you're subtracting the entire quantity. So it's going to become minus 3x plus 37. You got to make sure to distribute the negative. All right, in the next step, we're going to just multiply through and collect like terms. So we'll have 3x minus 36 minus 3x plus 37, right? So let's save a little time. 3x minus 36 minus 3x plus 37 is what will be on top. That'll replace all this. In collecting like terms, 3x minus 3x is 0, minus 36 plus 37 is 1. So we're left with just 1 over x minus 12, x minus 1, and that's the answer. Sometimes, after you collect like terms, what's left is an expression that's factorable. And when you have that, well, you've got to factor that expression, and then something might cancel out with these factors in the bottom. But in this case, it doesn't happen. All right, that's the idea with subtraction. If it was addition, well, it would be a little bit easier. Let's just kind of do that from this step here. If we had addition, then there would be fewer mistakes made because you wouldn't have to worry about distributing any negative sign. We would just have, all right, 3x, 3 times x minus 12 plus 3x minus 37 all over, again, x minus 12, x minus 1. So it's still the same kind of problem when you're adding or subtracting fractions. Once they have the same denominator, you just take care and add the numerators, keep the bottoms the same. And now we would distribute 3x minus 36 plus 3x minus 37. And let's see what we'd end up with. 3x minus 36 plus 3x minus 37. We'd have 6x minus 73. 6x minus 73 all over x minus 12, x minus 1. And there's no common factor between 6x and 73. If there was, if you could take out like a 3 or a 2 or something like that, you'd want to do that just to see if there's a common factor top and bottom. All right, but here, 73 is a prime number, so we can't do anything else. All right, just a little bit about adding and subtracting, and that's it.